Blessings, you beautiful beings. Sky here from Soul Sister Sky. Thank you for joining me in my podcast, Navigating the Human Experience. So much to talk about navigating the human experience, so many different aspects of the human experience. The one that I want to talk about today, that I am super passionate about, is social media and the effect that social media is having on the collective shadow. So, something that has come up for me in my awareness by checking myself and how I use social media is how much social media is actually feeding the shadow, the subconscious. And I would love to know your thoughts around this because as I explain this, I'm going to need you to bear with me on where I'm coming from with this. So, because I have social media, I have a large social media presence. I have my personal Facebook page, I have my business page, I have Google, I have Instagram, I have Podbean, I have Spotify, uh, I have LinkedIn, I have all the socials. Well, I mean all of them, but what I know is to be all of them. It seems like a lot. YouTube, 2 YouTube channels. So I do have a large social media presence. And I'm super grateful for technology to be able to share messages with you and awareness and insight all over the world. That's great. That's a great way to use technology and network. We're in the year of technology. We're in the age of technology as well as the age of Aquarius that is heart centered and intuition. So we need to learn how to bring those two together, right? Which I'll get into a little bit later on. What I am finding now, I was thinking or feeling into that I share so much on social media as a way to support, uplift, love on others, share insight, awareness, all from a place of love. And that is my overall intention. However, I have found that social media can also feed the shadow side of us, regardless of what we think we're at. I saw a post the other day and it said, are you using social media for attention or intention? And I was like, oh, come up for me around what my beliefs are around social media, what should be shared on social media, how I feel about social media, what's not shared on social media. So the thing is, it was feeding my shadow, and I was getting I've been quite anxious over the last couple of months. Now I have other things going on that is also feeding that anxiety. However, yesterday I made the choice app from my phone. Okay, now I don't have notifications on. So I wasn't getting the ding, ding, ding. I don't have notifications on my apps. I only have my notification. Well, I do on Messenger, but not on my actual Facebook app, on Instagram. I don't have any of the notifications on. So I'm not getting the ding, ding, ding. I'm not getting the constant distraction. However, when I go into my phone unconsciously, just to check my Facebook, and I would hit the notification bell and see what comes up. And then I would spend all this time scrolling, laying in bed at night, scrolling. I watch a bit of YouTube. I love to watch tarot readings on YouTube, which again is another thing that can feed the shadow. Even though I do tarot readings, that's a whole nother podcast right there. That's a whole nother episode. Because that can also then feed into your validation. So this is where I'm going with this. So there's so many of us in the collective that are using Facebook, sharing our knowledge, sharing our insight, sharing our awareness, and I'm so grateful for those beautiful people in my life. A lot of my newsfeed is that. My newsfeed's not anything overly negative. I don't follow news pages or crime pages or anything like that. I'm not judging you if you do. However, feed your mind, right? And so, but a lot of my network are people that do the type of work that I do. They're coaches, they're healers, they're, hypnotherapists, they're, people that teach meditation, yoga, all the beautiful self-healing modalities. So I have a lot of those people in my news feed, and that's amazing. But I also have a lot of advertisements coming up too. However, what I found is even when I don't have those people coming up in my news feed, through stories and shorts that sort of capture my eye, the shorts that it's people talking and then it's just like coming up flashing like words, and it's like, if someone's doing this, they're not doing this, or if someone's doing this, they're not validating you, they're not valuing you. Now I'm going to go down the relationship path here, because what I have found is that while we can be in very loving, healthy relationships, if we're catching our eye on something that is feeding the shadow, so the shadow, I am talking about the need for validation, going deeper into that jealousy, fear, mistrust. If you are working on those kind of things, if you're delving into your inner child healing, if you are strengthening your connection with yourself, loving yourself, if you are putting it out there for more healthy relationships, healthy connections, deeper connections, and then, so if you're doing that kind of work, but there is still that subconscious belief system in there that hasn't been quite cleared yet, or you are working on it, and then you start seeing little snippets of shorts or little snippets of things popping up on Facebook or Instagram, and it says, if the man is doing this, he doesn't value you, or a man will do these 3 things if he's in love with you, or your wife will do these 3 things if she's in love with you, or like those kind of things. And I feel this is where I've realized that it's still feeding the shadow. So there's people who are relationship coaches or psychologists or life coaches who are sharing messages from a good place. And I am going to be neutral here, because there is polarity there as well, that they could absolutely be right for your particular situation. However, if you are healing those kind of parts of you, and then you're seeing these things pop up, it can feed your shadow, and you can start to manifest that. Okay, so you can start to look for those things. So an example I'm going to give you is the shadow receives your validation. So if you go deeper and you have underlying jealousy, fear, mistrust, but you're in a healthy relationship, if you see those things, you're going to start looking for the reasons, as to your subconscious is going to look for the reasons to be right. Okay, so it's self-sabotage. It's going to look for the things that your partner is or isn't doing, that these shorts are showing you that your partner is or isn't doing, that will then validate your subconscious, and it'll validate your fears, and it'll validate your jealousy, and it'll validate your mistrust. And then you like back to the, oh yeah, no, I knew it. Like that psychologist said that, or all of these shorts are saying this. It's not validating me. He's not valuing me. She's not validating me. She's doing this. She's doing that. Or you could go into the self-loathing and go, I'm not doing that. I'm not being that person. I'm not giving my partner this. I'm not giving my partner that. Parenting, even going into, like sharing, people sharing about some of their parenting styles. And while I have learned a lot, again, it can feed your shadow. It can really like feed into that subconscious. And that's exactly what social media does. And if you've seen that documentary, Social Dilemma, whatever you are watching, if it's creating emotion in you, and you keep clicking on that, and you watch that and you watch that, that's more of the stuff that you're going to see. So if you've seen something short, and it's, a man will do these 3 things if he's in love with you, and you've watched that, and then you're like, oh yeah, 1 out of 2, oh 2 out of 3, oh yeah, and then you watch again, and then you watch another one, and then you watch another one, so that you are then validating your shadow, validating your subconscious, then more and more of that will come up. And because it's creating an emotion in you, now, whatever emotion it's either going to feed, oh yay, my partner is doing that. I have a great relationship. Or, oh, he's not doing that thing, she's not doing that thing. Oh, well, she is doing that thing and she shouldn't be doing that thing because this life coach just said that she shouldn't be doing that thing. That is feeding your shadow. That is feeding your subconscious. So unplugging from that is going to be a lot more healthy for you, to shut your mind off and drop into your heart and your intuition, and to really feel into what's actually happening in your life. Now, I'm using relationships as an example because I see a lot of it. I've seen a lot of what's going on in relationships at the moment. I have my own history with navigating relationships, and my own shadow work that I have been doing for quite some time now. Feeding my own shadow through social media, and unplugging was then just allowed me to drop into my heart space. So I deleted the app, and you know what? Even though I don't have notifications, it just shut off the noise straight away by deleting the app. I've still got it on, like if I log into my laptop, because I still want to use social media. However, deleting the app from my phone, it meant that I wasn't creating that connection for my subconscious. I wasn't creating all of those thoughts and feelings. And, it comes from, the best way I can describe it is, I'm seeing like reaching out, like cords just reaching out from my being out into the land of social media, just by deleting that app off my phone. And not everyone is going to have this experience, but I did. Just by deleting that app off my phone, I was able to just be more present. My subconscious just didn't have that distraction anymore. And not just that, what I'm also seeing is people will react instantaneously. They will see a post and they will get a feeling or a thought, like it'll capture you, and you'll get a feeling or a thought. Even when you're scrolling, you're still feeding your subconscious. Your subconscious is taking in everything in your awareness, everything. So even if you're scrolling and you're going past things, you are still seeing photos of people, you are still seeing words, you are still seeing things happening in your social media that you don't even realize you're taking in. And so, completely lost my train of thought with that. But so just by shutting off that, I was able to step back into the real world. And so I really wanted to jump on here and share my experience about how social media connects into your mind, not your heart and soul. You may feel that you're reading all of these inspirational quotes, and great, yeah, absolutely, like read the inspirational quotes, but then what's after that? Or are you letting it land? Are you reading the inspirational quote and then putting your phone down and actually letting that land, and and embodying what they're saying? Or are you just reading, reading, reading? And yes, that is also feeding into your subconscious mind, and that's great. But there's just so much more that's going in there. Oh, what I was saying about like posting and comments, like the instantaneous, like you'll see a post and I'll give my opinion on that. And it comes from your subconscious, unless you have actually sat there, thought about what the person is saying, the poster is saying, and then consciously worded your response. It'll come from your subconscious. 95% of our actions come from, or choices come from, the subconscious. Now, there are people who do take the time to feel into what they're writing or what they want to say. However, the majority is what I'm talking about here. The majority is just comment, comment, like, love, comment, comment. And if you actually sat back and went, how do I really feel about that? Is that something that I even really need to comment on? And this is what happens. This is what's happening in the world. Like, it's social media feeding the collective shadow. So I am inviting everyone who does any posting to ask yourself, are you posting for validation? And I don't mean just for someone to turn around and go, oh, good job. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm inviting you to look into, are you posting for validation for your subconscious? Like, are you posting because what you're saying, is that message going to get across in a way that is then not going to feed into somebody else's subconscious? And if you are wanting to do that, are you doing that in a healthy way? Validation or intention. Now, we can all have the intention of sharing and spreading light and love. The best way to post is to do a video so that people can actually feel your energy. And yeah, so if you are a coach or a healer or an influencer, really feel into what you're sharing. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that go, well, yeah, I do. Again, I am going to invite you to check in with your own shadow and ask yourself if it's validating a part of your subconscious so that your subconscious can then prove itself right to you. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, because that's a mouthful. I know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because that's what the subconscious does. It can be self-sabotaging. So if you're an influencer, please be mindful of that, is what I'm saying. Be mindful of how that whatever you're saying can impact somebody else's subconscious. We really want to be uplifting the collective, not feeding into the shadow. And social media is all mental. Like you're reading things, you're watching things, you're feeding your mind, so that, like, even though you might feel things when you watch things, or you might get uplifted for a while, or something inspirational, something's made you laugh, it's still very much the whole thing behind social media is to feel the mind. So disconnecting, unplugging, giving yourself time to really connect to your present moment, the nature around you, the people around you, can be so much more wholesome and worth it. And you just get to take a breath, because just having it on your phone, even if you don't have notifications on, it's still there. You're still giving your energy to something else that's not right here with you in the present moment, with your body. It's still your mind. Your responding from your mind. You're looking from your mind. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you don't. But I would love to know other people's thoughts around this. Like, I want to have a discussion around this. I have posted on my Facebook, and someone did say, yeah, like, I'm seeing that too, that it is fitting a collective. And, even with the kids on YouTube and, YouTube kids, I'm not going to deny it. My kids, they watch YouTube kids. I've heard some of the things that, or I've seen some of the things that just roll on when they do, video after video. And it's like, wow, like, it's really just feeding into their little subconscious, whether it be around health, whether it be around the self-image, whatever it is, it's really feeding into the subconscious without them even picking up on it. They're just watching something. It's entertaining. It's not just them. It's us too. It's the adults as well. It is feeding your subconscious. There's so much awareness around kids and social media. What about adults on social media? Because it is still feeding your shadow. It is still feeding whatever is going on in your subconscious. And if you're doing the healing work and you're watching all this stuff on social media, you're watching all this stuff on YouTube, you're watching all this stuff on Instagram and all this stuff on Facebook, it's still feeding into you, and it will still make you think one way or the other. The best way for you to keep doing that healing work is to unplug. Feel into what your everyday experiences in the real time, because that is where you can then do the work and do the healing, because you're not then just constantly operating from your subconscious. You may be, but that's where the awareness comes into it, to drop back and go, oh, what was that reaction? What was that? So this is where intention comes into it, and awareness. So I'm going to leave it there. I would love to know, there's so much more that I could say about this, but I am going to leave it there because I would love to get a discussion going about this, and how it is feeding into your subconscious and validating your subconscious, validating your fears. How is social media validating your fears? Is it validating how you feel about yourself because of the stuff that you're seeing? Are you even aware of that? Like, you might be picking up on the positive stuff, but the subconscious is programmed, the mind is programmed to remember the negative memories unless you start taking control over that. It remembers the negative memories first. So yeah, which is why there's so much hypertension, fight or flight going on in the world. Like, unplug. And you know what? There's so many people saying, oh, unplug from the matrix. Social media is the matrix. You need to unplug, like, and just use it as a tool for minimal time. It's become such a norm in everyday life to wake up and check your Facebook, or, and I know that some people, I know that there are people out there who are not, who are mindful to not do that, and they have to set an alarm or whatever. They don't check until 10 o'clock, or, and me taking the app off my phone, I now only get on social media on Facebook when I'm on my laptop. I'm allocating that time. Yeah, it's just like checking emails. Oh, that's the time I'm going to check my emails. But then everyone has emails on their phone too now, right? Let's bring it back. Let's drop it back. Let's drop back into the present moment. Let's drop back into our human body and start interacting more from there, and stop feeding the mind's subconscious with social media, because it's not healthy. And I worry, because even if we're trying to be positive and feed ourselves with the positive stuff, you are still not noticing that there is still other things being fed into your subconscious to validate your subconscious that can be unhelpful to your life and your healing. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm Sky from Soul Sister Sky. Check out my Facebook. Here we go. Check out my Facebook page after I just dribble about social media for so long, for 25 minutes. But yeah, just, if you want to get in contact with me is what I'm saying. Check out my Facebook page so you can get my contact details, see what else I do, see what services I provide, get my contact details and just ring me. Let's have a chat, rather than, yeah, rather than just looking at my socials or my website. Yeah, I'm going to plug. But anyway, unplug from the matrix. Go outside. Go for a swim in the creek. Go and look at a tree for a while. Like go and hug a tree. Go and put your feet on the ground. Just get away from social media and technology for a while and wait for the next podcast on how we actually integrate it in a healthy way. Sending you much love. Have a beautiful day.